As a commercial nerve center of Nigeria, the city of Lagos is no doubt an investor's destination of choice where corporate brands make remarkable success in diverse ventures. Let's celebrate good governance and corporate excellence in the center of excellence today on the City of Lagos TV show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back. The unresilient determination by Governor Babajide Sanwoolu to drive and sustain rapid developmental growth and transformation of Lagos State from diverse perspectives is a major motivational propeller for his administration's success. This is very evident in the energy and passion Mr. Governor expends in his weekly official engagements and activities. So, what's the update from the governor's office in recent times? Let's find out on the City of Lagos TV show right away on TV Nigeria. First, the recently held 105th retirement and certificate presentation ceremony to Lagos State pensioners was a clear testimony and evidence to give dignity and financial stability to Lagos State public servants after retirement. The Lagos State Governor was in a celebrative mood with the pensioners at the ceremony. In a speech, justified the state government's determination to recognize and celebrate the invaluable contributions of retirees in the Lagos State public service.
This event stands as a testament to the unwavering commitment of your government, Lagos State government, unto its retirees and to celebrate your years of dedicated service to our beloved state. Today, like I said, marks the 105th which will be the last while we're presenting bond certificates. An historic landmark and a milestone as we transition into a new era of pension administration, which will now be pay as you go. We will not owe anybody again. From now on, all retirees of Lagos State government will be paid as they retire, provided all your documents, all your approvals have been completed before your retirement. We have strategically prioritized clearing all backlog of accrued pension payments to ensure that our retirees enjoy the dignity and the financial stability after retirement. This commitment extends to the welfare of both current and former members of our workforce, recognizing their unblemished career in the Lagos State public service. And it's something that I need to put on record. Very, very emotional for me. I was humbled to be the Honorable Commissioner for Establishment, Training and Pension when we established LASPEC. And I was the first commissioner then. The first GM of LASPEC and all of it was under my watch. And today, standing as your governor, one can boldly chest out that we are completing that entire exercise of outstanding accrued pension. You know, accrued pension benefit was a decision and a law of federal government in 2004, and it was such a difficult and a tough one. But I remember Lagos State was one of the first that embraced it, will acknowledge it, and we said that gone are the days. Because at that time, the liability was not only huge, pensioners never know which way out. And so the federal government, led by Mr. Otedola at that time, was President Obasanjo, set up that pension, and it was such a difficult moment. But we thank God that Lagos State took the big bold step, set up LASPEC, and there has been successive general managers and board on that time. But we thankfully, in the tenure of DG, hardworking Obilano, we are here to clear all of the remaining outstanding backlog.
The Lagos State Employment Summit, organized by the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, held recently in Lagos, may have come and gone, but the fundamental issues, analyses, and contributions from various speakers and panelists surrounding the dynamics of employment generation vis-a-vis government and private initiatives and efforts to create the required skills for development prompted the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwoolu, to do a thorough analysis of the reality of the challenges and efforts of the state government to mitigate the challenges, considering the fast-paced population growth of Lagos State.
Part of the responsibility we have as government is to be able to create an environment where the likes of LESTF can indeed be an enabler that would create that job that we urgently and very desperately need around our environment. There's no need for us to begin to repeat it again that Lagos has no border post. So the challenge that we see in Lagos is a challenge that each time we plan and want to execute that plan, the numbers that we have to deal with a lot of times has outstrip that plan that we have. And I will come to the cholera issue later before I end. And that's why you will see that in almost all of our endeavors, we are outstretched, we are actually overstretched. Because once we think we have done a plan, be it in school, we've built more schools in the last 5 years than we've built in the 10 years before then. We've built more hospitals in the last, where the clap is good, but it's important for us to understand and to appreciate how we're building that scale of being able to get this system working. And each time we try and build that scale and how it will appear as if we're just starting. We're just starting because we have a population that is growing at a level that we need to be able to do something about in the country. But the problem is not about the population. The problem, like he said, is about the fact that everybody just believes that when they go to a place that is called Lagos, magic will just happen there. Jobs will just be created. They just don't have an idea of where the next meal will come from or where the next job will come from. But they just believe that coming to Lagos, you come and hustle, do whatever it is, and you'll be okay. But coming to hustle is not the thing that is bad. But what you will need to do, where you need to stay, the houses you need to live, the school or the training you need to have, the public facilities that you need to do for that hustling to transform to an economic value. That is where the challenge comes from. And that's where government usually also gets stretched. But we are not going to come here to give excuses. We're not going to come here to give reasons why, things are not at the level in which they are. Because we know too well that the successes of Lagos, right, is in itself a challenge for him, is a problem for him. Because every time you do that success, what you have done is that you have just opened the door for a lot more people to come in. Thousands of people come to Lagos on a daily basis and did not intend to go back. And that's the challenge that is there.
And still from the governor's office, in fulfillment of one of his cardinal objectives under the Themes Plus agenda, to provide safe, comfortable and affordable homes for Lagosians, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwoolu, recently unveiled and commissioned the WGC LBIC Greater Lagos Flats at Amuwo Odofin in Mile 2, Lagos. The governor, who expressed his delight in the successful completion of the project, commended the management of LBIC for a job well done, citing the strategic importance and value of such housing projects in driving and instilling collective community engagement.
This project, like you've said, was launched a while back, but it has had its own challenge of abandonment, of wrong contractor, wrong engagement. But at the end of the day, we're happy that we can hand over these beautiful flats to our citizens. And I believe this is driven by the sheer desire to ensure that LBIC continues to be used strategically to meet the shortage of housing that we have in a big and urban city like ours. And the initiative that LBIC has employed, board and management, is actually very commendable. And like the chairman said, they needed to roll up the sleeves and ensure that this project is completed and is handed over. And that's what we keep saying, not until when you complete a project, it's not done. You cannot get recommended or get approval for efforts. The only approval you get when we have a final result. And it's only when you have the final result that the citizens can feel the full benefit of it. So I want to thank and commend the board and management of the LBIC once again. And so you can see that housing plays a vital role in the fabric of our society. A safe, comfortable, affordable home is not just a basic human need. It is indeed a cornerstone for building stronger family ties, fostering community development, and ensuring that the total well-being of a citizen is achieved. You live in ambience like this, you will be your brother's keeper. You will surrender your individual to a collective community engagement. And it's only when we do that, and we do it very well, that you can see that society truly really develop and citizens live understanding that everybody have a role to play. It's therefore for me a momentous occasion to unveil these two groundbreaking projects that are taking critical steps in the pursuit of actualizing our vision of transforming Lagos into a really functional 21st century, resilient, highly livable city, state that we'll truly be proud of.
The chairman and House Committee on TET Fund, Honorable Mariam Odinaka Onoha, recently paid Governor Sanwoolu a courtesy visit to acquaint him of the fund's proactive efforts to reinvigorate TET Fund in order to achieve its set objectives. Honorable Odinaka Onoha was of the view that the committee is determined to remove all impediments hampering the flow of funds for the development of tertiary institutions in the country.
On the 30th of May 2024, the committee embarked on a routine oversight to the TET Fund agency to see how the funds allocated to the tertiary institutions have been utilized in what we call budget performance for the years, 4 years, so we can have a performance trend analysis. In the course of that engagement, we discovered that over 200 billion was unassessed, and we probed further. And the TET Fund Executive Secretary gave us details as to the tertiary institutions who were yet to assess the TET Fund interventions from 2017 to 2023 and now 2024, because we are in July. And based on that meeting, the committee moved a resolution, which became a resolution of the House, effectively to ensure that the impediments, are you aware that TET Fund intervention doesn't come without stringent guidelines? Of course, it's not a matching grant, and the Act establishing TET Fund is a delegated legislation from which they made guidelines for before you assess the interventions. For us as a committee, we want to soft pedal on those strict guidelines, because it's a technical committee that we have put together to ensure that the value for money will not be lost and that taxpayers' money will be put to good use. From 2017, 2020 to 2023, the amounts that have been allocated to embark on those intervention programs have been eroded by the going economic and inflationary rates. So the House resolved that within these 6 months would come with a technical team, the relevant TET Fund department, to state-by-state visits and call it like a mobile clinic. What are the problems? What are the impediments? What are the challenges? How much are outstanding? Is it in physical infrastructure? Is it in maintenance, staff training, library, ICT, conferences, publication of journals and manuscripts? So these are the recurring intervention lines that have been lying fallow. And whatever the stringent conditions are, by the mandate of this committee, it has been relaxed to ensure that we merge all of this and the monies lying in CBN will be deployed to the Nigerian people, because the intent of the act and the intentions of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is to bridge infrastructure gap in our tertiary institutions.
The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwoolu, in his response, commended the proactive and progressive efforts and initiatives of the committee to live up to its set goals and objectives.
Having listened to you very well, one can see the high level of commitment that the Federal House has for this job, that you as the chairman has for this job, and you've sort of like struck the ball very rightly. You know, you've identified the gaps, you've identified the issues, and you've brought all your members with identified consultants and TEDfund staff, you know, to go all out and do a surgical analysis of what the issues are, what the problems are, to resolve it. Because there is no need for us to just be given lip service to things. Right there on the field, you want issues and you want problems to be resolved. So I want to thank you. I want to commend this great initiative. You are the ones that have brought out the act, and you are the ones that have said we want to remove all the red tapes, because we want the impact of this oversight to truly, really feel the impact, and for those institutions to really, really have the benefit of what the intendments, you know, of these funds are. Of no use are we, you know, just keeping monies in CBN, and it has not met the needs of the higher institutions that they were set for, and the impact that it will have on our educational system.
Moving on from the governor's office, the chairman and members of the Senate Committee on Marine and Blue Economy, headed by Senator Eshilokun Wasiu Sani, paid a courtesy visit to Governor Babajide Sanwoolu recently in Lagos. Senator Eshilokun Wasiu Sani, who explained the rationale behind the visit of the committee, used the occasion to thank the Lagos State Governor and some key members of his cabinet for their support to water transportation and other diverse areas.
Basically, it's an oversight function, and you know, oversight function is enshrined, as it were, in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. A very critical portion of all the agencies with which we have legislative oversight or purview to oversee their activities. Basically, we are here to look at how NIWA is doing, and to see area of cooperation with Lagos state government, to see how, because of the recent judgment of the Supreme Court, to see how there will be a very smooth working relationship with Lagos State government without acrimony. We want, because we are the same government of APC, and most importantly, the head or the father of the nation is from Lagos State. So before we start the visitation, we thought it's wise, rather than coming after the visitation, to have a meeting with you to show you that we are not here to wish hunt, we are here to work with you, and we are to work for the people of Lagos State and the people of Nigeria. I must acknowledge that the governor played a very critical role during our election. He came through when we needed him. And I must also thank members of the executive of Lagos State. And I'm also indebted, as it were, to LASWA and the official, because I know that during the election they make available their boots, their safety kits, and I know that without your support or without your say so, you may not have done that. But he is a good guy, and he's been doing very wonderfully well. I look forward to working with Bush, who incidentally was a former member of the House of Reps, because we must acknowledge him, because that means he's a ranking member of the National Assembly. While also most of them are old hands, they have been working together on various issues. Tokunbo has been there forever. Though a younger guy, but he's been there for a very long time. Oshiemi, coming from the local government up to this stage, thank you for what you're doing. And the man saddled with the press. Thank you, Mr. Koshile. So, thank you, the governor.
Apart from citing the visit of the committee as strategic and relevant, considering the aquatic and marine potentials of Lagos State, Governor Sanwoolu used the occasion to highlight key efforts of his government to improve water transportation in Lagos State.
This committee cannot be better placed than to come to Lagos. 1/3 of Lagos is surrounded by water. Lagos is probably the only state that has only two neighbors: a land neighbor called Ogun State and a water neighbor called Atlantic Ocean. And we see the full benefit of this your committee, ensuring that the full potential that we are bound, on our marine ecosystem is fully utilized. We also want to acknowledge leadership of NIWA, who have come on this courtesy visit with you, and the former honorable member of the House, who is also from the Riverine too, who is the a consultant to the committee. So I want to say, Mr. Chairman, that you have chosen very well, appropriately, looking at the caliber of the people that have joined you on this national assignment, and to say, without mixing word, that we're indeed very happy that you are here with us in Lagos. And as God will have it, just a couple of days ago, we had an extensive meeting with the managing director of NIWA. He is indeed a worthy partner, I must say, with us in government. He has shown us that indeed, over and above whatever divide or whatever issues that Lagos, he acknowledges the importance and relevance of Lagos in marine, economy, marine ecosystem, and he had met with all my officials that are even here seated. So I want to publicly thank him, and say to him that we had very useful meeting, and it's going to make the work of your committee even a lot easier. But being that as it may, it's important for us to also enumerate to you some of the things that we've done in recent times, on the waterway side. Just recently, about a month ago, we launched additional 15 ferries, 15 ferry passenger boats, about 40 passenger each, brand new, for water transportation. NIWA were represented, and currently the boats were fabricated and completed here in Lagos. And so it's a backward local integration, and we're happy that we've seen that we can produce the kind of transportation boats here. And so the phase one of it, we've launched it and we've handed it over to the operators, for him to ease water transportation.
And finally, from the governor's office on the City of Lagos TV show, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwoolu, and some of his key cabinet members received in audience the Managing Director, CEO, and board members of the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority on a courtesy visit to Mr. Governor recently. The CEO of the NSIA, Aminu Umaru Sadiq, updated Mr. Governor on some key strategic areas of achievements of the agency to secure the future of generations of Nigerians in diverse sectors.
I'm proud to say that last year, even with all the macroeconomic volatilities, even with all the wars and the macro issues, even with what happened in China, I'm proud to say that we made about 1.63 trillion naira in total comprehensive income. When you strip out all the revaluation gains on financial assets, in terms of core capital, we made over 200 billion. And I dare say that I'm not sure that any other agency would have made that kind of money on behalf of future generations of Nigerians. So on the financial side, on the financial performance side, I'm proud to say that we have surpassed expectations. And then on the infrastructure initiative side, as you know, Lagos continues to be a core jurisdiction for a lot of our infrastructure activities. When you strip out all of our investments that have nationwide impact, those that cater to Lagos, I think on the healthcare side, you're familiar with Evercare. That is an NSI initiative. You're familiar with the world-class oncology center that we set up that is co-located at Luth. You are familiar with the world-class diagnostic center that we are about to commence negotiations around on the island. In the agricultural space, you are familiar with what it is that we're doing on the fertilizer initiative side at both Golding and Premium in Badagry. On the motorway side, you're familiar with what we have done over the last 7 years on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway as the fund and portfolio managers of the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund.
While congratulating the managing director and his team on behalf of the people of Lagos State, Governor Sanwoolu did not only appreciate the level of accountability and transparency of the agency's efforts so far, considering the fact that Lagos State is a critical investment stakeholder of the NSIA, but also reeled out the future plans of the Lagos State government to take a bold step to create a similar body at the state level.
First is also to say that on behalf of the people and government of Lagos, we're happy that, we're shareholders. We're happy that the fund is about the future. We are just being very patient, we're very, very patient as equity partners, waiting patiently, for dividends, yes, the very simple model would be that you are reinventing it back, capitalizing everything because it's really for the future, but sometimes, we need to be kept alive for us to see that future. Sometimes when it is raining, you need to be sure that you have enough umbrellas so that you don't get bitten. So what am I saying? Sometimes, payout is also a measure to test the strength, the financial strength and the liquidity, of the organization, just to also know that it's not all just, book balances that we're doing. Let's actually write out the checks and see. But we'll be patient, we'll be patient because, it's a long-term view. To also say that we, as even a sub-national, we're actually also, planning to set up one. And it's not out of place because we also realize that sovereign front, maybe a sub-sovereign front as will be, is critical. It's critical because, if you can staff yourself a little bit, and belting up a little bit so that you can actually provide for the future and you can set something aside, for the future, I think it's always a prudent thing, to do.
Putting Lagosians on speed every week about the progress reports from the governor's office is our prerogative on the City of Lagos TV show. So stay tuned for another informative package on TV Nigeria in our next episode. The show continues in a moment. Stay tuned.
The relatives of security men also claimed an attempt to control them or to ask them the next person they will call is their man who is there, and the person will get them out. Lagos State government, I think, as a matter of fact, what they should do is to set up another intelligence team, like a task force, to go around this thing. And then again, it should be a multidimensional task force. It should include the army, it should include the Navy, the Air Force, even the DSS should also be involved critically.
The government or the law enforcement agency should be able to be moving around at all times. Even those who are on bike, because I came across one telling me I'm making calls during driving, which I told him I'm not making calls. I just speak on my phone, call a friend that is in police. That is then I saw their activities that these people, I don't think they are proper police officers. The Inspector General of Police, as the so-called police are on the road, at every checking point, there should be an enforcement agency cross-checking their own activities too.
For the governor of this state, he should set aside strict policies that will help monitor these people. And also I feel that each officer should have probably an ID card that will show a means of identification.
I think the way the government can address the issue of fake military and police officers on the street, they should try and find a way of changing the uniform. Once they change the uniform, they have just one single company producing the uniform. But when you have the policemen to go and sew their uniform by themselves and the military, then that's where we'll be having problems.
The city of Lagos is a city of champions. Don't settle for less. Thanks for watching.